something nice and short on the Yom Tif of Chanukah. We started lighting the menorah last night. Those who've davened already, there's Hallel, there's Alanisim, if you ate. And there is something very interesting if we think about Chanukah for a moment. And what's interesting is we know, it's famous, the Gemara in Shabbos that teaches us that there was the miracle that happened on the 25th of Kislev. And because of that miracle, what happened, Chazal dictated that we create a Yom Tif, B'Hallel U'B'Haida. And what was the Yom Tif that was created? The Gemara explained they only found that Pach Shemin of oil, and it made a nes and a lit for 8 days. So the next year, they created Chanukah, that we light the menorah. Okay, we all know that. That why are we lighting the menorah? Because of the miracle of the little jug of oil. But then, if you're paying attention, when you say Alanisim, if you're paying attention to the words, you find something very interesting. In the Alanisim, what do we mention? We focus more on the battle. We focus on the fact that Gibayrim biyad Chalashim, Rabim miyad Ma'atim, the weak in the hands of the strong in the hands of the weak, many in the hands of a few. So it's very interesting. The Alanisim focuses on the physical battle. The menorah focuses on the miracle of the Pach Shemen, of the jug of oil. And inquiring minds are just wondering, like, what's going on over here? It's just very interesting. If it's all about the jug of oil, so that's what everything about Chanukah should be. And if it's about this incredible nes, this wonderful miracle that the Chashmonayim be to this incredible army, then that should be our focus. So why exactly do we have this interesting dichotomy that when we light the menorah, we're focusing on the miracle of the oil, whereas when we say the tefillah in Alanisim, we focus on the battle? Now, Rav Chaim Friedlander, in his incredible Sefer Sifsei Chaim, brings out from here an incredible idea. This really is the Ramban, many times throughout Torah, explains this, that there's two types of miracles in this world. There are miracles which are glaring, there are miracles which cannot be ignored, and then there are miracles that are camouflaged within the nature, within this world, the Teva. If we were to think about it, the battle was such a miracle. Of course, there were a few people that defeated a mighty army. Indeed, it was weak people in the hands of these strong soldiers. But I'm sure, as in every battle, there were those that were able to explain how they had such military strategies and how they had unique ideas. And you could almost explain in Teva, in nature, how it makes sense. But then you have the miracle of the jug of oil, which is absolutely impossible. You have this little jug of oil lighting for 8 days, which if you think about it, Hashem's making a miracle. He could have made the miracle that the Beis Hamikdash is ransacked. There's nothing to be found. And they open up a hidden door and they find a massive jug of the Kohen Gadol's oil. That would have also been an incredible miracle, right? But yet, what's the miracle that Hashem designed? Was that we find this teeny little jug of oil. So the Ramban in many places explains that this is how miracles work. Is that Hashem sometimes gives us a miracle which is so glaring, so obvious, cannot be avoided, so that we can realize that there are other miracles in our life. We light the menorah and we focus on that little jug of oil, something that everyone had to admit. This teeny little jug burnt for 1 day and 2 days for 8 days. A miracle which almost was unnecessary, which we all know. But that little miracle thereby allows us to see, the battle. It was also Hashem pulling the strings. And in life, that's what Chanukah is teaching us. Every night we light the menorah and we focus on, yes, it is a miracle. And then throughout the day, when we say Al Anisim when we eat, when we say Al Anisim when we daven, we take that glaring miracle and we tie it together. We tie it together with the mundane miracles, with the day-to-day miracles, with the battle, which maybe one might have explained, it wasn't such a miracle. But once we realize that Hashem was the one that gave us that teeny little jug of oil, that glaring miracle, then we're able to realize how everything else is a miracle as well. And indeed, as we've spoken many times, we know what's really the difference between miracles and between Teva. There's really no difference. The same Hashem that dictates a miracle happens, dictates, then nature happens. Just one is more obvious. The fact that we're breathing, that we're alive, and we're walking, and we're talking, and the billion of things that already happened in our life just today, and it's only 9 a.m. But sometimes Hashem gives us glaring miracles to remind us that He's the one pulling the strings. Hopefully, b'siyata d'shmaya throughout Chanukah, if every day or every night we take a moment here and a moment there to remember, we light the menorah, the glaring miracles. But let's remember that there are other miracles also that Hashem does on a very constant basis. Those just happen to be camouflaged within the day-to-day life. Hopefully we'll be able to realize that it's the same Hashem, the same God that's pulling those strings and making it all happen.